This is volume 2 of my Fraud in Japan series, where I go through his entire catalog of videos and just dissect them. I was surprised how successful the first video was, where I discussed his first 5 YouTube videos. With this video, I'm going to continue with his next 5, 6 through 10. To the best of my knowledge, this is about a year into his life living in Japan, or it could be only 7, 8 months, I'm not quite sure. Episode 6. How dangerous is Japan? I'm going to just skip over the clickbait intro about the funny named movie he found. Out of all the videos I've seen so far, this is the first video I really wanted to comment on. I don't care about those first couple videos, like the table smashing game. To me, they're just filler. But safety and crime in Japan is real life, and videos about arcade games anyone could do, so I don't really care. He says the most common question I've got from people back home or outside of Japan are, is Japan safe? Is there crime in Japan? And have you got a Japanese girlfriend yet? And it's those first 2 questions that I want to talk about. And to that third one, yes, I have a girlfriend. She's Canadian. You wouldn't know her. Next, he's talking about how everyone leaves their cars running in front of the convenience store while they're inside, and how that's surprising for him as a British person. However, he lives in a small countryside town, so this doesn't seem too strange to me. It's been a while since I've driven, but I'm pretty sure people in America also leave their cars running if they just step out for a couple minutes, especially if you're in a store where the wall is a giant window. I don't know what's wrong with Britain, but this seems perfectly normal to me. I'm sure you could compare this to the most dangerous part of America or the most dangerous part of Britain. But most things about Japan, people compare apples to oranges. So he's not comparing like a dangerous part of Tokyo to Britain. He's comparing this relatively small, simple town. So it's a little disingenuous to say this. For instance, we live in Osaka and Japanese people are constantly fucking up our bikes. So to say, oh, Japan is so safe that you can leave your car unattended and it'll be perfectly fine. I'm saying I don't even trust my bicycle being unattended in the bicycle parking lot at my own apartment. Which, if you're familiar with this channel, you know that I had to contact the apartment management company about an issue I had, and they didn't care or do anything about it. Let me just say, in Japan, you should definitely lock your doors. Recently, there was a case where some Japanese men entered an unlocked house, killed the owner, and stole his cash. The police said that on his computer, he was watching Abroad Japan's video about how safe Japan is. Pretty ironic, huh? He says the biggest crime in Japan is bike theft. This may be true. You always hear in Japan the top 2 crimes are bicycle and umbrella theft. I don't like how this is an attempt to diminish all the other crimes that occur in Japan. For instance, today someone tried to burn down a girls' bar. Why don't these pro-Japan people ever acknowledge all the murder and rape of women here, as well as arson? There's a lot of crime that exists here. Here's my problem with the whole bike theft and umbrella theft comparison. Let's say 1 million bicycles are stolen, and that's the number 1 crime in Japan. But 999,999 women are raped and beheaded. Well, I heard that the number 1 crime is bicycle theft, so that sounds pretty safe to me. My daughter worked at a bar, and one of her patrons stalked her and killed her, even though she told her boss multiple times that she was scared of him. Yeah, well, more bicycles get stolen than your daughter getting killed. Also, if all you can afford is a bike, which most foreigners here are too poor to afford a car, do you really want your bike getting stolen? During a typhoon or a rainstorm, do you really want your umbrella to get stolen? As an English teacher with no money, even having to buy a new umbrella can really put a dent in your bank account. All that being said, I liked his joke about how bad his bike is. I can relate. I've had 2 crappy bikes since moving here. Which then why not talk about that? He never expands on anything. His bike is crappy, so he kicks it. In a previous video, he was flipping tables. Now he's kicking bikes. This guy's out of control. He said the only time he's felt worried was when he was at an airport and some Japanese guy saw a sticker on his pants and was staring at him. Which this whole story was all just an attempt for a gay joke. That's fine and dandy, but to the best of my knowledge, when he put out this video, he had only been in Japan for less than a year. And it seems like he's not really doing anything other than touristy things and eating kombini food. Also, he doesn't speak Japanese, so it's not like he's going to get into any arguments with people. And he was living in a safe little town. What I'm saying is, with his lifestyle, how many bad things could possibly happen to him in like 7 months? He says even the most dangerous places are quite safe, and that the most dangerous place that usually tops the list is Kabukicho. To this I want to say the most dangerous places, he definitely wasn't going to. Also, the most dangerous places that he was going to seem quite safe. As far as Kabukicho goes, you mean the place that has whores, gambling, and is constantly on fire because Yakuza people want their money back? I always see these foreigners online putting out videos, I'm in Kabukicho, the most dangerous place in Japan. Nobody's stealing from me. And to be honest, you look stupid doing that. Let me explain why Japan seems safe to foreigners, especially tourists. Because Japan is extremely racist. This might seem like it would be the opposite, but they hate foreigners so much that they don't want to be involved with them at all, even to rob you. Now, the one place that I've noticed is perfectly fine to rob foreigners is bars and restaurants. If you aren't paying attention, your bill may be a little higher than it should be. This could be an entry fee, seat charge, or sabisu, as they call it, that they neglected to mention, or it could be extra items added to your bill. I think this is because that out in the streets, Japanese people aren't going to get involved with you, but at a restaurant, you and your friends or family are getting involved with them. The Japanese manager is probably thinking, I don't want to look at these disgusting gaijin. If we have to allow them in the restaurant, we better get something out of this. On a side note, make sure to check your bill. We've been here like 10 years and we still, this looks a little higher than expected. Then you have to talk to the staff in Japanese, of course, but as a tourist, you probably can't do that. Also, if something bad does happen to you, it's possible the police can help you, but anything serious, they're going to say, that's too bad. Also, the police and criminals in Japan are often partnered together, so they're not going to arrest their friends and colleagues. For instance, prostitution is illegal in Japan, but there's a police station in Tobita Shinchi. Also next to an elementary school, which is a little depressing. Maybe they didn't see all the horrors on display. No, I thought they were just cosplaying. I thought they were just cosplaying as hookers. All 30 of them. And they convinced their older female friends to cosplay with them and pretend like they were whores. So where he downplays all the crime is where it begins to annoy me. 1, just because 1.3 million crimes were reported doesn't mean that there weren't more. Reported being the key word. 2, a lot of things like prostitution, rape, pedophilia, etc. aren't really considered crimes here. Technically, yes, they are, but in most cases, the police aren't going to uphold these too strictly. Or the girl may know that no one will help her, especially since the police often get caught abusing victims. 3, Japan, the country, underreports crimes. The ones you're going to hear about in the news are things that are unavoidable. For instance, burning down a bar, stalking and killing women, cutting people's heads off, or people found dead and naked in the park. Also, I think it changed recently, but a few years ago, anyone who was a minor couldn't be charged for a crime. For the police are in on the crime. There are police stations in whore districts. Also, the police here are lousy, so it's not like they're actually trying to catch criminals anyways. I used to teach English to a police officer. Every week he was like, I saw suspicious people, but I didn't do anything about it. And his whole reason for becoming a police officer was to catch suspicious people. He said that every week. He's like, I'm not doing nothing. Can't be bothered. Abroad Japan explains that the reason for Japan having low crime rates is because people have a greater sense of discipline. No, they don't. People wait at red lights and crosswalks. No, they don't. I took a break from watching his horrible videos to do my laundry, and as soon as I step outside and walk to the traffic light, I saw people crossing at the red lights. That was a week ago, and I saw it today too. It's almost as if they go, look right, look left, nobody's coming. Guess I'll just cross. So basically, I watched an Abroad Japan video. He says people here don't cross on red. I pause the video, I go outside, and I see people crossing. I'm confused, Abroad Japan. It's almost as if Japan isn't the way you're claiming it to be. Also, I want to say 6 episodes in, he's changed his personality again and is now becoming that Japan shill that we all know and love. His first few videos were him just being silly or just driving around. I don't really care about these. For instance, saying, "Oh, the robot restaurant, these Japanese so kooky crazy, hoo hoo hoo." That's a little bit annoying, but when you lie about Japan this way, it tricks foreigners into thinking of Japan like this. Over the years, I've heard ignorant foreigners spouting off things that they heard from his channel. So when people message me in the comments saying, like, "Why do you get so upset about his videos? Just don't watch them," it affects me. I didn't report on his videos until I lived in Japan and I was affected by them. Okay, let's say Japanese people don't have autonomy and they don't ever cross on any red lights. I still don't see any correlation between standing at red lights and crime. That Japanese guy who beats his girlfriend to death probably stood at the red lights all day long. That Japanese guy who rapes some girl probably stands at the lights. That Japanese guy who robs the convenience store probably stands at the lights. That Japanese woman who leaves her kid in the apartment and goes on vacation and comes back 2 weeks later and it's dead, she probably stands at the red lights. Also, if Japanese people are so disciplined, what is with all these men killing girls' bars women? It seems like I keep harping on this, but it happens so often that I don't know why Japan isn't famous for it. In fact, when I was writing the script, a man in Japan set a girl's bar on fire. I wouldn't consider that being very disciplined. There's probably CCTV footage of him waiting at the red light on his way to burn people alive. He downplays all the crime in Japan this whole video, and starts and ends the video with some goofy jokes about some Japanese movie and talking about how expensive cheese is. Then he shoves cream sandwiches down his gullet. This is why I don't think he's really qualified to talk about Japan. It's annoying because this is a very interesting topic, but he only spent 8 minutes on the video, and he still had to pad it out on both ends. If he was just the "I like eating konbini food on camera" guy, I wouldn't mind so much. But why is he allowed to talk about anything else? He's not qualified, and this video proves it. He's probably very qualified to talk about eating and drinking and mocking Japanese people. Episode 7, How to Learn Japanese Kanji the Fun Way. Heisig? Oh, the Genki textbook. Japanese has 3 writing systems. Holds up 4 fingers. He really does love dictators. Episode 3 had a Hitler joke. Now we get Kim Jong-un. This video is 11 years old, so he must be doing something right. Also, Kim Jong-un has an Asian wife. Not a Canadian. So Kim Jong-un's more successful than LeBron Japan. A lot of foreigners say Japanese is hard to learn because they can't read kanji. Yeah, it's annoying when you first start studying Japanese, but they're very useful and easy to pick up if you're actually trying. I've never hated kanji, and if you're studying Japanese, you should enjoy learning new kanji. This is me talking, by the way. I don't think LeBron Japan would ever say that. But yeah, I think if you're moving to Japan, you should really practice learning kanji. What I do is I just look at signs and I go, "Can't read this?" Bring out the old phone, Google Translate. Okay, now I know the word. And then you'll start making connections. If you're learning kanji his way, that's fine. Everybody has their own way for learning. It seems like a lot of work, though. For me, just writing them over and over again was the best way to learn them. In America, when I was doing that, I could actually write kanji. Actually, I think by writing them so many times, it will help you to naturally pick them up. But, I mean, whatever. If you got a different way to learn them, that's fine. And to be honest, I mean, how much kanji does he actually know? I don't even think he speaks Japanese. And at no point did he, show us 10 years down the line how much more kanji he learned. So, I mean, I don't think he actually knows kanji. Episode 8, McDonald's Japan's Extreme Burgers. He starts off by talking about some promotion McDonald's Japan had for some hard-to-find burgers. He then questions whether he would spend 1,000 yen on these burgers. I'm actually mad now because I made it a thing to not discuss his jokes anymore. I actually deleted a lot of stuff in my previous video which pertained to his comedy, but it was so bad and it was distracting me from the videos, so I deleted them. But I went back to this video to confirm something. and I watched him talk about how hard these burgers were to get, and he told a joke so baffling that I couldn't understand it. The first time I watched this video, I was like, okay, he's just talking, like, I'm just gonna zone out for a little bit and then come back when he starts talking about the actual topic again. This time I was paying more attention, and it really fucking pisses me off when he tries to do humor, because he's so fucking bad at it. He just starts talking, and there's never a fucking punchline. Oh boy. I had to visit this video 3 times. Just because of one stupid joke. The first time, I skipped over it. The second time, I tried to understand it, so I was actually writing it out word for word. And then halfway through writing it out, I understood what he was trying to say. And then I recorded my thing for this video. And I just was like so angry that I was just like shouting the whole thing. But I fumbled a little bit, so I wanted to go back and re-edit that. So I listened to this stupid video a 3rd time. This joke is so bad. He stumbles through the whole thing. There's a cut, I swear, in the middle of the joke. I had to watch it so many times on repeat just to make sure I wasn't crazy. I swear to God, he tells the first half, which doesn't make any sense. He says, and even if the burger was so exclusive that you would have to plan a bank-style heist. But then the end of the sentence doesn't match what he started with. And even if the burger was so rare. Shouldn't he have said, being that the burger is so rare, you would have to plan a bank. See, now I'm even fucking up because this joke is so fucking stupid. Like every time I try and say it out loud, it just makes less and less sense to me. So I keep going back and rewatching this one joke over and over and over and over and over and over again. I think it drove me crazy because he just talking about nothing. How the fuck is this hilarious? I don't understand why he puts this humor in, because this one, even if these burgers were so rare that you'd have to schedule a bank heist style robbery the night before to get one, that's not even a real sentence. You're an English teacher, you fuck. It's actually pissing me off because I really want to get this video done, but I'm stuck on this fucking joke. And I shouldn't be, because I don't give a fuck about it. It's just that he's not funny, but it's so fucking bad that I can't get past it. Everything about it's bad. It doesn't make sense. He doesn't deliver it well. He clearly doesn't want to do it. He's like looking around the whole time like, what the hell's going on? Am I being recorded? And there's a fucking cut in the middle of it to where I think he spliced 2 videos together. So he fucking stumbled through it once, fucked up apparently, then told a different joke and spliced the 2 together. It's so fucking stupid. And it's annoying because he doesn't give a fuck. Nothing he says ever matters. It is just blah, 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 blah. I'm living in Japan. Next thing. Blah, 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 blah. This could have been a joke. It could have been a fact. I don't know. I'm just talking. I really wanted to get fucking past this, but apparently he's fucking hilarious, so I gotta go back and scrutinize some of this shit, and I really wish I didn't. So, back to the fucking review. You know what, I'm not gonna get any closure until I actually just fix his joke. He should have just said, you know, these jewelry burgers are so rare and expensive, you'd probably have a better chance of just heisting them, or whatever, you know. Or just show up when they're on sale and buy them. I don't fucking care. I thought I would get a little enjoyment out of criticizing his videos, but it's actually made me more annoyed with how bad his channel is. The first 5 episodes, I was like, oh, he's just some fucking dumbass. But the fact that he's getting popular off this shit really annoys me, because it just shows that people don't give a fuck about Japan. They just want to see, it's like pornography. It's just like they just want to see McDonald's in Japan. Now I could come finally. It could really be anybody, just as long as you show them what they want to see. It's just fucking stupid. Next, He's watching a Japanese McDonald's commercial where the staff is dead. I can't even continue with this shit. Hey, asshole, the guy outside was the delivery driver. Fucking stupid cunt. What is this guy doing? I don't know. Maybe he's in the delivery driver uniform. Fucking idiot. He's so stupid. Japanese commercials have people singing and dancing. I've never seen that in a Western commercial. There's no singing and dancing in Western commercials. Kooky, crazy Japanese. Stupid fuck. I was going to skip over the jokes completely this time, but I couldn't remember too much from his video, so I had to go back and give it a second watch, and I should have just stuck with my notes from earlier, which was only 8 sentences. On a side note, at the end of the video, he films 2 men eating the burgers. I guess he didn't want to try them himself. Maybe he was just too embarrassed to eat them on camera. Or maybe he bank-style heisted them the night before? Episode 9. Climbing Mount Fuji. 8 hours of hell. 8 hours of hell? Wow! That's what I call a weekend of watching abroad in Japan's videos. I mean, seriously, he could have just made a Pulp Fiction joke. And that would have been better than what he said. 1,000 yen for a McDonald's burger. That better be one tasty burger. Like, that would have been better than just... Oh, God, he's such an asshole. I and a guy I met in the library 2 years ago. Okay, this was funny. God damn, how much McDonald's does this fucker eat? I feel like his YouTube channel is just an excuse to eat greasy food. Sorry, Mum. I can't diet. I gotta promote my channel. Was this video just an excuse to film elderly people? There's so many shots of just old people climbing the mountain. That was a cool shot he took of those people climbing up, though, with, like, the lights. That was kind of neat to see. So far, this was his best video. It's kind of hard to fuck up a video about Mount Fuji, though. Although he kind of did at the end, where he was supposed to show the sunrise. But he was all shaky, and, like, the camera was moving all over the place, and he was, like, filming other people. It's like a porno cameraman, like, oh, here comes the money shot. Oh, drop my camera. Sorry, my hands were greasy from all the McDonald's. I think this video was more bearable because his friend George was funny. I hope he appears in future videos. Also, he did another fall forward gag at the end of the video. He likes rolling backwards or falling forward. It's the finest British comedy. You Yanks wouldn't know about our love for rolling backwards and falling forwards. Especially in front of Japan's highest walking mountain. Episode 10. The Horrors of Japanese English Textbooks. Teaching English in Japan is a fantastic experience. Nope. The students are great. Wrong. And there's a lot of scope for creativity and having fun in the classroom and making learning English fun. Actually, that's true. False. Teaching English in Japan is literally the worst thing that's ever happened to me, including my parents getting divorced and my grandpa dying. We've joked here before that we wouldn't wish English teaching on our worst enemies. He talks about how bad the English textbooks in Japan are, and yeah, they're really bad. He mentions some bad dialogue in the textbook about a party. But with the house party dialogue, I feel like he missed an opportunity to make a joke. Like, it's supposed to be a house party, but the girl goes to the guy's house, and nobody else is there. And then the very next scene, they're eating dinner together at a table. So he could have said a joke like, seems like this is more of a sneaky date. Like, oh, no, I swear, people will be at the house party. Just give them time. But hey, why don't we open this bottle of wine while we wait? I feel like anytime there's a good opportunity to make a joke, he doesn't take it. But when he's talking, he randomly says something that doesn't make sense as if it's a joke. He talks about all the sad stories in the English textbooks. I don't know why Japanese textbooks have sad stories or have extremely boring content. Junior high school kids don't want to read about recycling or read about sad things. The sad story my textbook had was the story where during World War II, the Japanese zookeepers killed the elephants for no reason. Actually, for this story, I think it's in there to make foreigners look bad. Oh, I'm sorry. We didn't want to kill these cute, intelligent, innocent animals. But we had no choice because of America. Also, I think they want to force us, Americans, etc., to have to read about how we hurt Japan. There's really no other reason to put those stories in the textbooks. Like when I was studying Japanese, at no point did the book say, like, don't you remember Pearl Harbor? Like, that would be really weird to force the Japanese teachers to talk about Pearl Harbor in the Japanese text. Like, it's really kind of sinister how they did it this way. I think his personality changed here again. I think I picked up on the first bit of him not liking Japan. Teaching English is actually the reason I began to dislike Japan and eventually hated Japan. I wasn't 10 episodes deep into how great Japan is, though. I think for him, he was probably already a little popular with the Japan content, but his daily life isn't going to match his videos. So this was a way for him to talk about something he doesn't like about Japan, even if it's something minor like textbooks. This was another short one. I feel like some of these videos he puts in the bare minimum just to get to the end and then puts out the video. For instance, this video was less than 7 minutes. It's like, here's the textbook, it's bad. Here's some crummy dialogue. Okay, I'm done with this. Time to upload it and get some cheeseburgers. Also, to be honest, when I was watching this video, I was like, this may be your best content because it's already laid out for him. The textbooks are so bad that he is literally just turning to page 9, reading it, turning to page 14, reading it. But he doesn't add, well, I think he made some cripple joke. Or a midget joke, I forget. But he doesn't add to it at all. The only reason this video was good is because the textbooks are so bad. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, he probably showed his channel to some students or teachers or somebody, like at his school or in his workplace. So he probably thinks he can't say anything too bad about Japan. In conclusion, I actually didn't like making this one. I can write a critique of something like low crime rates in Japan, which obviously isn't true, but according to some British people it is. But learning kanji, McDonald's, and English textbooks were so short and pointless that I really feel uncomfortable criticizing them. Why do you care that this British man likes filming men shoving beef into their mouths? I don't care. But with this series, I have to watch every video, and the majority of his videos are filler. And the ones that I think I can talk about are half filler anyways. I can understand why his fans get mad at us for criticizing him because he's just eating and falling down and lying about Japan for money. But with some of these videos, I do feel a little silly even mentioning them. But he should feel silly for putting them out. And to be honest, some of his older stuff, he should probably delete. I mean, he's getting ad revenue, so I can understand. And it adds to his brand, but I mean, some of this stuff he should really delete. And I understand, like, probably some of our older stuff isn't as good as our newer stuff. Maybe even a little embarrassing to look back only 4 or 5 years ago when we first started our channel. But the difference is we have improved over 5 years. We've gained more knowledge about Japan over 5 years. It doesn't seem to me that he's improving or even really self-reflecting. I think his self-reflection goes up to, well, no Japanese person wants to date me or talk to me or even sell me chicken. Oh well. Guess I'll just go somewhere else to get chicken. Guess I'll just talk to these non-Japanese friends of mine. Oh well. I guess I'll just date a Canadian. Yeah. And actually, to be honest, I don't think he could change his channel at this point, because from what I can tell from his fans is that they are, 1, pathetic, 2, completely insane, and 3, they don't care about reality. They just want the chicken and cheeseburgers. So I don't think he can ever change.